Hello, 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 everyone. I am excited to talk to my friend Andrea Bullard today, and you're in for a treat. She's agreed to share some expertise in this Facebook Learning Guide, and I'm just grateful you did this. We actually, in transparency, because I love to be honest, we did this before, and there was like a weird whatever. So we're coming back. So I tell everybody, you and I call that, Andrea, fresh content.
I
It's
love
fresh. Isn't we have
All
to
fresh,
redo it again.
fresh, hot off the press.
Hot off the press. That's exactly it. So, Andrea, I want you to actually kind of introduce yourself only because I will read this long thing. And instead, I know that the meat and potatoes part of who you are is this coach extraordinaire, and you work with financial service professionals. You've actually introduced me to some of the people that you do work with. They spoke glowingly about you. One gentleman, in fact, was of one of the people that you introduced was like, she was life-changing to my business. How about that one? So Andrea, talk to us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and all of that jazz.
Okay, so I'm on a mission here. So I'm an executive coach, and I specialize in working with financial advisors. But here's my mission. I believe that financial advisors can do the one thing they love to do, which is just see people and get rid of the complexity in their life. But to do that, they really need to think about building their business in four pillars. They need to think their vision. They need to have systems in place. They need to have an A team, and they need to learn leadership. So what I've done over the course of the past 26 years is work with advisors and their team members and help them developing all of this. Why? So they can make a bigger impact, and so that they can, have the life that they love to live, and also so they can impact their clients in a bigger way.
Exactly. I think one of the things that I love the most about you, and especially the feedback from some of the people that you coach, is the importance of, I think there's a tendency to hear that work smarter, not harder, and it tends to have been worn down so much and people don't take it to heart. But that's indeed what you're doing in a nutshell, but you're doing it in a very intentional way. And my 1, 2, 3 questions today for you in this learning guide, I really want you to talk about what's the number one reason financial service professionals are overwhelmed? Because I want to tell you that the people that you introduced me to said you took the overwhelm away.
Well, I think the first thing they have to really, I have them almost track every day. What do they do? So if any listeners are listening to me right now, go back and track every day. What do you do? And here's the thing. The one thing they should do is just see people. So if that's all you should do, you have to say, what are all these other things I'm doing? And here's the key part. Who can I hire that can do them? In fact, I'm going to ask a little cheeky question, which I ask my clients. How can you build your business but not have to be there? Ooh, there's a cheeky question. So I'm a big believer it's about team and systems. You can't build to scale if you don't have a team. Why? There's 24 hours a day. And you can't build to scale if you don't have systems. Why? Because if you have a team and you have to delegate everything, you have to instruct everything, that's time and that's money. So you want an A team and you want systems that are pre-written. So basically it's plug and play. It's like McDonald's. I always say, could you, what do they do? 1 million hamburgers in a day? Could you do that if the manager is saying to the person, oh, a little more ketchup there, oh, less ketchup over there, this is how you fold it? Couldn't do it. I'm applying those same principles to this industry.
I really like that analogy because I think people can understand it. And I told you before we started recording, it's like there was a moment, I actually took a real vacation this summer. My first one, I want you to imagine I'm almost 51. And it's the first time I actually took 10 consecutive days and I didn't check my email. I didn't call anybody back. I didn't text anyone. I was with my family. And you know what? My business ran. It ran. We have delegates in place. We have, people who are doing, and we came back. Now, I'm not going to say that we did that and came back and everything was, perfect. And no. We still had emails and stuff like that to do. But that leads me really to this next one, because I think you need to talk about the importance of having a coach, no matter where you're at in your business. I wish this had been in my life sooner rather than later. Unfortunately, it was later for me, but I have somebody now, and it's made an enormous difference in my life.
I love that question. And it goes back, way back when I wanted to be an Olympic coach. So I've studied world-class coaches. I myself had a nationally rated track team, coached at the college level. But when I got into business, I asked one question. That was over 20 years ago. I said, why don't business people have coaches? I'm going to ask every person in the financial industry, why don't you have a coach? It's a great question. If you think about it, whether you're Tiger Woods or whether you're President of the United States, all these people have multiple coaches, and here's why. First of all, we have blind spots. Every one of us do. And that blind spot can be your opportunity to take your business to the next level. Secondly, a coach will push you further than you're going to push yourself. Let's be honest. If I'm going to do sit-ups or if I'm going to work out, there at one point I stop, but a coach may be, pushing me further. And furthermore, for example, in my area, right? I hear every day, oh, I'll just have my staff build the systems. I worked over 20 years in the trenches. I've written over 28 systems for this industry with people in the trenches. These systems are working. I can implement these fast with teams. And if a team member tries to figure it out, it could take them years to figure it out if they even could. So a coach is going to take you to the next level. They're going to guide you. They're going to see your blind spots. And in my business, I just don't coach the advisor. Cheryl, I coach the advisor and their team. I say, why would I just coach you? I'm coaching the entire team. And that's the big, big difference. It's huge.
I think that's really an important part, is going after what the full effect of the business is, not just on the person. And to your point earlier, you commented about the importance of having a coach in a variety of areas. So if that's the case, and this is actually something Daryl and I talked about this very recently, and that was, we have somebody who's coaching us on our food. We have somebody who's coaching us on our exercise and getting out there. That's like something new that we're doing. And we have somebody coaching us at our business. I at one time had a writing coach. I know you're an author, and you get people to come behind you and say, hey, let's really challenge what that looks like, or how your writing style, or making certain that you're meeting. For me, honestly, was meeting the amount of words per day. I mean, there was just a lot of things like that I didn't know until I met a writing coach. I thought, oh, okay, there's coaches for everything.
That's right.
It's really, really an important part. I'm glad that you talked about that. This last part of it too, I want you to spend some time, because I think this is something when you're meeting with somebody, how do you find someone? Because I can't tell a lie. I tell my kids all the time, like, I'm so transparent. I asked you at the top of the hour before we hit record, I said, how many life coaches do you think reach out to me on a given week that they want access to females in finance? And I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's 10 a day. It's at least 5 a day. I'm not joking. It's at least 5 a day. And I actually take the time for those who are watching to go through and validate those who are coming into our environment. 1, to make sure they actually do this for a living. 2, have an establishment in this space. 3, have something that's very specific to financial services. And I'd love for you to spend a few minutes there talking about how do we find the right person who fits for us?
That's such a great question. Well, first of all, I think you mentioned the show, which is so important. You want to pick a coach that, number one, specializes in the area that you need help in. So, for example, when someone calls me or I speak to a prospect, I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm really trying to establish first, what problems do they have, and then figure out, am I the person for them? And if I'm not, I'm going to refer them to someone else. Why? That's how I need to really help them. It doesn't serve them well, nor does it serve myself well, my business well, if it's not my area of expertise. So I think the first thing, pick the coach that actually has an expertise in that area. And I think the second thing you can do is look at their testimonials. Just like you said, my clients will tell you more about me than I'll tell you about me. What experience did they have with me? How did I help them? So you can look on their website and look, do they have experience in this area? Do they have positive testimonials for this? I think those are 2 areas. And then the third area, meet with that coach. Find out, is there chemistry there? Let's be honest about it. There are coaches that we will work well with, or coaches personality-wise that we don't work well with. They could be a very established, great coach with an expertise, but if you don't get along with them, it's just not going to work. So I think experience is one thing. Make sure they're in the area you're looking for, and make sure that personality works. Those are 3 key areas.
I think that it's funny when I look back on the time where whether I found like a personal trainer, which is a coach, or I even think of your doctors can be coaches, right? They can really, right? I mean, if you just take the doctor term away, with my husband being a past medical professional, I looked at him more just as a rehab coach. He would come in and work with people in healing ways to get back, because he just knows that the more that you're out there actually shopping for yourself or driving yourself and doing for yourself, you live longer. I mean, as soon as you start, he used to say, if you watch a person just like start from standing and then down to a walker, down to a wheelchair, he's like, it's just getting closer and closer to the ground. Think of it like that. And I think that that's very true. So, to that point, when someone like me, so a financial service professional is out there looking for that, what are some questions that you would say to them? Hey, maybe think about this question when you meet with them. Because like I said, the people that met with you, that I met through you, love you. I love you. We're friends, but that doesn't count. But I think there's a way that you have a firm, but loving or kind delivery. And I think we need that.
Yeah, I again, go back to myself with my clients. I work together and asking them questions of where they want to be. And once I found out where they want to be, we establish a guideline. So for example, we're setting up systems. We'll pick one system at a time. Maybe establish that, work with their team members. And then what I do with them is I have expectations when they're going to finish it, depending on their workload. And so I really drive them to finish. Meanwhile, all the time we're looking at, are they meeting the goals, business goals that we all established? So it gets to be a little complex. I want to meet the goals, what I call play to win. In other words, as we establish the team we need, the systems we need, are we still meeting those goals? And everyone's in that game together. So I think when you're working with a coach, Cheryl, you want one that's going to have expectations for playing to win. I know there's coaches out there that some of them, they're maybe not emotionally invested in your success. They're just going to give you knowledge. And if you do it, great. If you don't do it, great. For me personally, that would not be the coach I would personally want to engage, because we want to engage a coach for results, right? And so you want that person to be engaged in the results and have some measurement for results. So I think, again, it goes back to what questions you need to ask. You need to know, what are you looking for? And you need to ask them, what's the value they deliver and how do they do it? What's the methods that they're using? I'll say one last thing. Make sure that coach is asking you questions and getting to know you. Make sure that coach isn't just trying to sell you. They have to get to know you. So for example, if someone comes to me, I really spend almost a full hour and asking them tons of questions. I always apologize and say, I hope you don't mind me asking you those questions, but I really want to get to know you. And why I want to get to know them, I want to uncover what problems they think they have. And I want to find out, do I have the solution? Or are they even coachable for the solution? That's one thing I look for. So if you're out there looking for a coach, a question you also need to ask yourself is, am I going to be coachable?
Mm-mm.
Am I going to be open? Am I going to do the work?
I love that you said that. I'm going to tell you why. I think that we do not teach young enough to teach children and then young adults and then adults how to be students. I don't think we teach them how to be mentees. I don't think we teach them how to be receptors, because that's why people push off. I don't need this. I'm going to do it my way, the highway. And my oldest son, talking to you, Justin, when you watch this, he was like, I'm going to make my own mistakes. I'm like, yes, you are. Indeed, you are, because wherever you go, there you are, and you'll be right. And that was on me. I didn't teach him how to be open and receptive enough. And I think if we could teach that sooner,
I think,
the power of that.
So great. I think one thing that in this industry, in all industries, for example, you are going to make mistakes. And I will tell people off the bat, you know what? You're going to make mistakes. In fact, with me, I tell them day one, you're going to fall down. And here's the biggest thing I'm going to teach you. Get over yourself and get back up.
Yeah.
And the other thing, again, part of growing this business is learning how to become a great leader. And part of that is looking in the mirror and say anything that happens to your business, even the hires that you have and what they're doing, that is your responsibility.
Mm.
And I say, you know what? You're going to make mistakes, but it's about learning. And I'll say,
Mhm.
when you make a mistake, most people beat themselves up or say, I can't do this, but they don't pick up the gold. And here's the
Yeah.
gold in that. What did you learn from that? Because it's from the learning that you grow and you change, right? So
Mm.
advisors that come to me, they have to change. They have to understand it's not about them anymore. That's the biggest change. It's
Yeah.
about that team. They have to understand, oh, I don't like doing it. They want systems set up, but they don't have to do it. I have a newsflash. Well, yes, you do if you want what you want. And then learning how to become that great leader, right?
Yeah.
Learning it's not about them. Because I always say your success is dependent on your team's success. And
Yeah.
let's define it the same way. Do you care about them?
I think that's
It's just,
so powerful.
yeah, it's a change. And when they grasp this, they feel great and the team feels great and we become one because it's not just about also the advisor changing, Cheryl. That's why I coach the team members. They have to change, right? And
Yeah. And
it's one.
I think it also, as we wrap up here, I think it also plays over and into their, as they are coachable, they start creating coachable clients. That I think that's, and I found that, we went through some personal development classes recently. And, I have found now that even my parenting, I saw my girls on a trip that were, well, you did this. And I said, stop. I feel like this when this happens. All of a sudden, the dialogue completely changed. And both the girls were like, well, I didn't mean to make you feel like that. I didn't know that made, instead of you, because as soon as they started doing the you, they were like, oh, and I was like, oh, there it is. It showed up. And then I'm taking what I learned. And yes, I paid to learn that. And you should pay to learn those things. And then I gave those freely back to my children, which I hope will then in turn for their children, et cetera. So I just think there's such a bigger picture that you fill, Andrea, with the clients than just the financial service professional. I think it's the team, it's the clients, the family of the clients. The ripple of the work you're doing is going on.
Okay, and thank you. And that's how I feel in my heart that there is this ripple, this
Yeah.
bigger picture. I'll say, at the end of your life, look back, what you'd be proud of. Was it just that you made money or made it to the top?
Yeah.
Or did you bring this team to the top? And did you all make a difference on your clients? And did you enjoy it? I mean,
Yeah.
too many times, for example, we talk about vision or bringing in a team. I always say to the people, what are you going to love?
Yeah.
How can you walk in every day and just love life, love your team? And that's a whole different way of looking at it, isn't it?
It is. It is. And I think that you're building legacy within companies that way. Even it starts off, whether it's a solopreneur, whether it's a large company, you truly are building a legacy because, like I said, for the first time, at least for me, I walked away from a business for 10 days and said, it'll be there. I'm going on a trip and I'm going to be focused on grandkids. But I had to hear that from a coach.
And didn't that feel great? Because that's why I love that.
Yeah, until Sunday night, I told you.
You're like, I'm living life. So it's kind of like that cheeky question, like, can you
Yeah.
build a business not have to be there? And everyone looks at me
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a minute, they
Yeah.
want me. I said, well, why? Why can't you hire your team members ready for this? They're just smarter than you. And everyone's sort of like, their ego goes, I'll say, well, if you do that, your clients will be better off. But I said, they want your team members, great. You can go on the beach, right?
Yeah.
It's just a different way of looking at it.
Yeah. And that's exactly how I had to, because I made a commitment that I was going to go on that trip and be present with those kids. And I was, but I will tell you, I told you Sunday night, I was like, we're back at it. We're ready to get back Monday morning. Here we go. Here we go. So I want people to be able to have access to Females in Finance. You are an integral part of the network that we have. You are there. And for those who want to reach out, Andrea at AndreaBullard.com. There'll also be a page there with all of your website and ways to connect. And As usual, you're amazing.
No, you're amazing. I want to give a gift to everyone. So I don't know if you want to
She didn't even tell me this, just so you know.
yeah, I didn't tell her this. So I have two templates I'd like to give everyone. One is a system, the case note template, and everyone needs that, whether you're brand new or advanced in this business. And the second thing, A players have a hiring system. So I'm going to give these as a gift, and they can go on AndreaBullard.com/free.
Okay.
And they'll go there and they can download these documents. They're theirs because I have a mission, like I say, to help this industry get to be big. And those are two pieces everyone needs.
Love it. Love you. This is the best. I'll make sure all of those are on there, and make sure you stay active in the group so we can all experience your greatness. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing for women. Because I know we spoke several years ago and you were building this, just so everyone knows. Cheryl was like kind of struggling. I don't know, but she had a mission, and look at what's happening now. So thank you. Just think about this, for not stopping or thinking I can't do this. When it fell down, you just kept going, and you're
making me get all teary-eyed. Don't do that.
No, but you're lighting up the world, and you're just great. So I thank you as well.
My heart's warm. Thank you so much. All right, friends, you heard it from it. And Andrea, get in touch with her. She's amazing. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.